All right, so Jeremy, you start with the last question. What is the city of Minneapolis doing well with regards to environmental stewardship, and where do you see the most opportunity for improvement?
So I don't know if you do this as well, but when I go to and visit other cities, it makes me very proud of Minneapolis. When I see what they call recycling, I mean, it would be funny except for the tragedy that's happening with the environment. So it's something that I think we have a really good thing here. We not only recycle, we've got curbside pickup, we've banned plastic bags, we have one of the best, most bikeable cities in the world. Maybe I'll take that down to the nation, but I would say the world. And we also focus on having walkable communities. What I think we need to improve is really just not something that's addressed in all of these questions. You've heard about different issues like raising the minimum wage, but I see city council as really a service job plus. We have to make sure the city runs well first. We need to make sure that everything is timed, and that takes a little bit. But what I will say is the plus part. As we're working on all of this, the environment should be front and center. We should be thinking about, as we're doing the regular work of the city, how can we be ending the racial equity gaps? How can we be better environmental stewards? And so, to get specific on what we should improve, I think the city needs to do a better job of incentivizing residents and businesses to reduce their carbon footprint. I think we can do more with our city buildings to make them more energy efficient, maybe as well as making them centers for community solar. And finally, I think we need to do more work with our other stakeholders in the district. We need to be talking hand in hand with the watershed district, with the park board, so when they're doing environmental programs, we're not just elevating them, we're amplifying them. Thank you very much.
Erica?
So we need an entity as big as the city to take aggressive action on climate change. As much as we're all trying to do that on our own, it's not enough. It will never be enough. The Clean Energy Partnership is a good first step as a structure to coordinate all of this. Our parkland is critical to our energy footprint, and coordinating with the MPRB is important. Municipal composting is great. We should be working to increase participation in both recycling and composting, including having public composting and recycling receptacles throughout the city in public spaces. We should be leveraging city property as much as possible to capture renewable energy and to power city operations with renewable energy. And as much as the city enterprise should be eating its own dog food, I know from my time working on the capital budget that we struggle a little bit with funding upgrades to the city hall building itself, partly because of the historic preservation concerns, so that's a thing that we need to work out. There are great community solar initiatives happening. Tingletown neighborhood is doing some of this stuff. It's great. It's not enough, though. City property should have community solar gardens on them. We should adopt a green zones policy to immediately remediate and mitigate environmental damage in our most affected communities, to engage those communities on alternative uses for that land, to support businesses and homes in those zones who want to make their properties and operations more green, and targeting economic development and green economy jobs in those areas. And lastly, we should be making sure that low-income families can afford the cost of upgrades and access to any available energy efficiency programs for their own homes.
Well, Minneapolis is committed to citywide economic opportunity, social equality, and environmental sustainability. And I think what we pride ourselves on is in enacting environmental progressive policies, which can provide examples for more sustainable practices to other municipalities, as well as other businesses and residents in the city. What we're doing really well, I think, is we're articulating a clear and aggressive greenhouse gas emission strategy. This is part of our climate action plan that we adopted in 2013 and is in place today and going forward. It's a roadmap document really to reduce the climate impact by our city 15% by 2015, which we've just accomplished. Yay for us, right? Which is pretty ambitious, especially because we've grown in population, and we've grown in development, and we've grown in businesses. These are all factors, and we've reduced our emissions. I think that's amazing. We also have a goal of having a 30% reduction by 2025. We also established, as we just heard, of course, the nation's first clean energy partnership, and that's a partnership between CenterPoint Energy and Xcel Energy. And we've identified specific strategies that enhance and coordinate community engagement, use data and program participation to aid decision-making, and use our city policy levers as much as we can, as well as our communications channels. We've talked about the organics rollout, and that's a big deal. We've talked about our solar energy and our awards that we've received recently from the Department of Energy, and we need to increase more outreach, and we're going to do that by generating program participation funds through increased franchise fees with our utilities. That's where we're at.
So that was the last question.